This right here is about $200,000 in credit. To truly leverage the power of credit, you need to get into business credit. In this video, I'll give you a blueprint in building business credit from scratch. Whether you don't have a business right now or have bad personal credit, I'll cover all the bases. What's up, winners? My name is Nam. If you're new here, welcome. Here we talk all things personal finance and credit. Start now by subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. I feel like when people think about business credit, they tend to overcomplicate things, and that fear causes them to not even try. Getting access to business credit opens up a lot of doors to financing, whether it is loans for working capital or very high limit credit cards. The number one reason on why small businesses and entrepreneurs fail is by having a lack of capital or funding. If you're able to get $30, $50, or $100,000 of business credit at 0% interest for a year, would you take it? Of course you would. So the very first step of building business credit is setting your foundation. So what exactly is business credit? Not to challenge anybody's intelligence, it's simply what it sounds. It's credit for your business. This is different from credit that's tied to your social security number. With business credit, it is tied to your company's EIN number or tax ID, and it is based on your company's ability to repay its creditors and lenders, similar to personal credit. But the thing about business credit is that the majority of lenders out there, if you were to default on your business obligation, it's possibly that it can affect your personal credit score. But a little bit more on that later, because there are things that you can do to separate your business from the personal side. We all know that on the personal side, there's credit scores from FICO, which ranges from 300 to 850 and affects our everyday lives. But on the business side, typically business credit scores range from 0 to 100. The majority of reporting agencies for business credit are Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. There are plenty of other ones as well, but these are the major ones. So let's break down what goes into a business credit score a little bit further. Each model is going to be a little bit different because some of the factors that we'll be going over may not carry that much weight or may not be used at all. But as a generalization, most business credit scores factor in payment history, age of credit history, debt and debt usage, industry risks, and your company size. But as with personal credit scores, the most important factor when it comes to business credit is your payment history. Essentially, does your business pay your bills on time? Now, let's talk about how you can actually use business credit once you establish a profile. There are ethical ways and unethical ways of using business credit, so I'll cover the ethical ways. So to start off, you can get access to vendor accounts, revolving business credit lines, credit cards, and most importantly, unsecured lines of credit without a personal guarantee. All a personal guarantee means is that your personal credit will not be a determining factor to get business lending. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in trying to get business credit without a personal guarantee, but honestly, I don't even worry about that, because if you want the highest credit limits and the biggest loans with the lowest interest rates, the majority of the time, a personal guarantee is going to be required. Because without a PG, it really limits the amount of credit that is available to you. But once you put some skin in the game, like your own personal credit score, this is where you get access to 30, 50, even $100,000 of credit limits on a credit card, and this just scratches the surface and it's just peanuts when it comes to business lending. The people who tend to worry about personal guarantees are individuals who have less than perfect credit, meaning that they have a credit score in the mid 600s or lower, but that is okay because there are other ways of building business credit without getting your personal credit score actually pulled. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The better your personal credit score is, the easier it is and more access that you'll get to business credit. But if you have bad credit right now, there are plenty of accounts out there that help you build business credit without checking your personal credit. So to get the best access to lending without a personal guarantee requires assets, steady cash flow for years, and a few other factors. I know that most that are watching this are still in the beginning and not that established. So anything that you are doing right now with the intention of making money can be considered a business. So if you haven't done it already, you want to set up your business to be credible. So if you already have a business set up already, feel free to skip forward of this video, but there might be some gems here to improve your fundability. The first thing that you'll want to do is to set up an LLC or a corporation with your state. Yes, you can do a DBA or doing business as under a sole proprietor, but the main intention of a business is to separate yourself from your business. This varies from state to state and also its fees, but there are plenty of third-party companies online that can actually help you out. So during this process, they're gonna ask all the information about your business. So this is when you want to decide whether or not you want to get a business address set up. This can be a physical address such as a brick and mortar, a virtual business address, or even your home address. So for me personally, I have a virtual address, But if you're still in startup mode, your home address is perfectly fine. You know, honestly, I wouldn't stress too much about this because you can always have this changed later. Once you have done that, this is when you would want to get an EIN number. All this is a social security number for your business. This is something that you should never have to pay anyone to get for you because you can get this absolutely for free through the IRS's website. Your EIN number and sometimes your DUNS number is what you need to put on business credit applications. Now, a DUNS number is similar to an EIN number, but it's used to identify your business with Dun & Bradstreet. D&B is one of the major business credit bureaus, so to get one set up, you would have to register on their website. So once you have registered, they will upsell you a few times about their products, then within a week or two, you should get this number. Another thing that you want to do is to have a business phone number that is registered with 411. There are plenty of apps and websites out there that actually allow you to have a digital phone number that would forward to your cell phone number. Some examples include RingCentral and GoDaddy. The caveat is that most of these options will require you to pay a certain amount every single month. Both of them range between like $12 to $20 per month. So this is definitely the route that I would take because it's usually way more cost effective than actually setting up a mobile or landline with one of the big major carriers. So free services like Google Voice and burner apps are not going to be able to be put on that registry. So once you have done that, this is when you want to start having your business look legit and have an online internet presence. This means setting up a business website, getting a business email, and even social media. So all of these can be done fairly cheaply, and there are plenty of templates for websites out there. Squarespace is a common one that you can easily build a website. If not, you can always hire a freelancer from Fiverr to make one for you. So whenever you are building an online presence, you gotta have as much information about your business on it, because typically this is a great resource that lenders will use to figure out what your business is all about. And even on some business applications, they will ask you about your website and social media platforms. Most website builders out there will allow you to get a domain name and a professional email. For example, if your website is mikesplumbing.com, you can have an email with your name at mikesplumbing.com. So to have a legitimate business, you want to separate personal and business expenditures separately. So you would want to have a separate business checking account where you can do all of your accounting. There are plenty of business accounts out there that you can get for free and at very low cost, such as Novo, Bluevine, and North One. So with all the stuff that I did mention already, this is just the bare bones that you'll need to look good on paper when you are applying for business lending. Of course, you can probably get away with much less, but more things that you can make your business look credible, the higher probability that lenders will approve you and give you more money. So another thing to keep in mind is that whenever you are building your business and setting it up, you want to make sure that all of those business details match across the board, meaning that your address and contact info lines up with all your business documents. Because the majority of the time, whenever lenders are looking at your business, it usually goes through an algorithm and just spits out an approval. If not, it usually goes to manual review, which majority of the time typically results in a denial. So you want to make sure that your business information is congruent with everything that's out there. This includes your tax documents, your business checking account information, your articles of organization. I think you get the gist. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the fun part, which is actually building business credit. So if you follow all of these steps, you should establish business credit in as little as 30 days. Now for people who just started a business but have excellent credit and already built a relationship with a bank, it is very possible for you to get a business credit card right off the bat if you have no revenue. Also, if you are an individual who already has an established business and a banking relationship, it's also going to be much easier for you to get business funding. On the other hand, for individuals who are new to business but don't have the greatest credit or no credit whatsoever, the next steps are going to be very important. Now, the first way to start building your business credit is by getting set up with trade vendors. Now, vendor credit is just credit that's issued by vendors for you to buy the products and services that they sell. It's typically issued on terms like net 15, net 30, or even net 55. So all this means is that these accounts usually has to be paid in full within those days. For example, if it is a net 30 account, then you would have to pay off that balance within 30 days. Now, this is a little bit different from a revolving line of credit, like a credit card, but it does give you a period of time before you would have to pay that balance back. Now, here are some of the best vendor accounts that can build a foundation for your business. The ones that you probably hear multiple times across YouTube videos or whenever you search online are Uline, Quill, and Granger. I'll call these the big three of vendor trade lines. The main reason is that all of these vendors are tried and true to help build business credit. So let's break down each one of them and I'll give you a few more. So the first vendor trade line that we will be covering will be Uline. So if you're not familiar with this company, they mainly serve businesses with shipping supplies, materials handling and safety products, retail store operation equipment, and warehouse supplies. They've always been known for their customer service, and it is easy to get access to help if you need any. As for reporting, they report to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Business. And the good thing about them is that there's no annual membership fee, but to keep your account active, it is best just to purchase items every now and then so they can continue to report that account. So next up is Quill. This one is kind of similar to Uline since they offer cleaning and office supplies for business, plus they offer free shipping to its members. So the minimum order required for credit bureau reporting is at least $100 on your first order and then $50 on future orders. Additionally, there's no fee to maintain that Net30 account. So with this company, they only report to Dun & Bradstreet only. Other downsides is that it can take up to 90 to 120 days before they report your payment history. So the last one of the big three, this one's kind of similar to the previous two since they supply industrial and safety products. So it may not apply to every business out there, but it is worth noting that this account is relatively easy to get, but there has been some data points showing that newer business owners may find it difficult to qualify right away since they have no business credit references. So you may have to wait after 30 days when your business is incorporated, and it may help your application if you talk to a representative directly. So the next vendor trade line that we will be talking about will be HD Supply. At first, it kind of sounds like Home Depot, but in reality, it kind of seems like it is Home Depot when you go onto the website. But this actually is a different company, and they've been in business for over 80 years and offer over 200,000 products. They supply a lot of industrial items such as appliances, cabinets, countertops, cleaning and janitorial, flooring, ceiling, paint, essentially what you would find at Home Depot. But with this company, they only report to Experian Business, but there's no minimum requirement for credit bureau reporting. So for your transactions to be reported, there has to be a balance in your account at the end of the month. So for same monthly payments and credit card purchases will not be reported. This means that you would just have to have a balance in your account and make payments slowly for them to continue to report. Yes, this means you're gonna be paying a little bit of interest, but you gotta look at the bigger picture since this is gonna give you much more access to other credit lines in the near future. And also on the bright side, there's no annual membership fee, and sign up is quite simple. All you gotta do is just go to our website and apply for a credit application. So the next two are gonna be a little bit different because it's for business apparel. So the first one on the list will be Shirtsy. It's basically what it sounds like. They sell shirts, print-on-demand shirts, and other printed material like business cards. I'll be honest, their website isn't the cleanest, but they do report to Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax. The downside with this account is that they do charge you a $99 annual membership to maintain, so unless you need business shirts and other accessories, you can probably pick others from the list. The next clothing vendor is the Business T-shirt Club. This is very similar to the previous one as it is a membership-based custom apparel printing option for entrepreneurs. But you do get a Net30 account with this company, but it does require a little bit more work on your end. You have to make at least a $250 minimum for blank clothing orders, and if you want custom designs, they require at least 12 items or more. And they have an annual membership of $69.99. So unless you are a business that does printing and customization of clothing, this could be well worth it for you, but if not, it may be hard to justify after the first year, but they do report to Equifax Business and a few other smaller ones. The next vendor is gonna be a little bit different from the previous ones I mentioned, and this company is called Namina. I think I'm pronouncing it right because I'm not 100% sure, but this is a digital marketing service firm that provide businesses with online marketing solutions. The great thing about this vendor is that they give you a credit line up to $10,000. So this company actually has two different types of Net30 accounts. The first one is a prepaid credit builder service that charges $50 upfront for reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, and the second one is just a traditional Net30 account for their marketing services. So as mentioned, the only business credit bureau that this company reports to is Dun & Bradstreet. On the upside, there is no minimum order that is required, and they don't have an annual fee. Some of the services that they provide is contact marketing, inbound lead generation, and marketing strategy. So the next couple of trade lines that I will be talking about is a little bit different than vendor trade lines because they act more like credit builders or subscription services that help build your business credit. Now the first one out of the bunch that I would recommend will be the credit builder from Divvy. I would say this is probably one of the top business fintechs in the game right now, and they have a credit builder that helps you build business credit 100% for free. So this company is mainly geared towards corporate solutions because they have an expense management software to help businesses spend money smarter. So the way that the credit builder works is that you can start applying for an account with a regular credit line, but if you were to get denied, you would automatically get an offer for the credit builder option. This is actually a great step in the door with actually getting in with Divvy because depending on your business and other factors, you can get a credit limit as high as $400,000. Now the credit builder account is more like a spend account because essentially whatever money that you put inside of it is going to get reported to the credit bureaus. But unlike other accounts, there's no security deposit required and there's no minimum balance required either. And this account reports to Dun & Bradstreet and SBFE. So the next credit line that I would recommend would be NAV. So this is a fintech company that helps small businesses qualify and predict lending needs. They also provide credit monitoring and credit scores and reports for your business, and they have a bunch of other analyzing tools, but they have this tool called Business Boost. This is where it reports a business trade line to the credit bureaus. This includes Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, FICO SPSS, and also Equifax. Now, this will cost you some money. It comes in about $40 per month, but the thing about NAV is that it's pretty much a guaranteed approval as long as you sign up and your business is registered. So I would just recommend having a quarterly subscription. Then about after 3 months or so, you can just downgrade to the free version so you would not have an ongoing expense. Now, the next credit builder account that you may want to consider is from Credit Strong. You might have heard about this company on the personal side because this company lends out secure loans kind of similar to Self, SeedFi, and many others. But with Credit Strong, they do have a similar product, but for businesses. There's really not that many companies or fintechs that I see doing this, so this is pretty unique. Now, how this account would work is that you can pick a balance anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000 that you would want to save, and once you pay that loan in full, you would unlock that account and you would just get that money back minus its fees. But what makes it worth it is that you can cancel at any time, but again, it is best to have a long history reported to your credit profile. You have two options that you can take. You can pay a one-time fee depending on the amount that you want to borrow, or you can just go the interest route, which will just cost a little bit more over time. So with this trade line, they report to Equifax, PayNet, and SBFE. They say that they're planning to expand to Experian and Dun & Bradstreet in the near future, but no word of that yet. So the next few trade lines are gonna be best for people who are just starting out and may not have the best personal credit score, but if you have a few vendor trade lines already reporting, then it should be much easier. The first revolving line of credit that we will be talking about will be the Corpay MasterCard. The great thing about this card is that some purchases may be eligible up to 51 days to be paid back. But in the fine print, if not, most items are required to be paid back within 21 days like a traditional credit card. You can also earn rewards. You can get at least a 1% rebate on eligible purchases, plus if you pay your business bills through Corpay One, you can earn up to 1.5. But the thing about this account is that they will be required to pull your own personal credit score. The reason being is that this allows them to extend credit to businesses that due to their size or history may not be otherwise eligible. So they do use your personal experience for this, but I wouldn't stress about it too much even if you do have bad credit. The next revolving line of credit that I would recommend would be the Shell Fleet Card. So this is a gas card that you can use at any Shell gas station nationwide. They do give you a smaller discount on gas depending on your spend, and they also have a mobile app that allows you to manage all of your drivers. So normally with this account, they do start off with a $500 credit limit and reports to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian. So there is a little trick or hack that can improve your approval odds. Once you go onto their website and apply, you would want to put in all of your information, but before hitting submit, you would want to close out of that window. So within the next couple of business days, there's gonna be a sales rep that's gonna be sending you an email letting you know like, hey, what happened? I see that you're interested in getting this card. They will then give you a new link, which is going to be much easier for you to apply and get approved. So I would only recommend getting this card once you have at least 2 net 30 accounts reporting to the business credit bureaus, so your personal credit score would not be affected. Now the next account that we will be talking about will be the Wells Fargo Business Secure Credit Card. Depending on how you feel about Wells Fargo and their banking practices, you can't deny the truth that they are one of the biggest banking institutions in the US. So if you have established a business trade line through them, you're gonna have a better chance of securing higher lines of credit to Wells Fargo or any of the major banking institutions. Now, with this account, there's no annual fee, but since this is a secure credit card, you gotta put down a little bit of money. This can range anywhere between $500 to $25,000, but even if you put down $500, this is a great way of establishing business credit. The caveat is that to get this card, you must have a Wells Fargo business checking account or a savings account. But when it's all said and done and you have this card, they do report to the SBFE. Now, let's move up to the next level of business credit. This is what most people think about when they think about business financing. This is where you will get high limit unsecured business lines of credit and loans. Now, I'm not gonna really focus too much on business loans because the type of financial products require different types of underwriting and it depends on your business much more heavily. Meaning that business loans may require personal and business tax returns, cash flow, cash reserves, and other details. So at this level of business credit, I really wanna focus on business credit cards much more just due to the fact that they are much simpler to get and you can get free short-term loans through them. This is where you really start to see the true power of business credit due to the fact that you get insanely high credit limits so you can start funding your business. Now the first one that I would recommend once you have a few business trade lines and a fairly decent credit score is to start applying to regular business credit cards. So the first on the list will be Capital on Tap just due to the fact that it is a soft pull and they report to Experian Business. This card, it gives you a $50,000 credit limit, and their requirements aren't really that difficult. They just want you to have a US based business, make at least $30,000 a year, and be more than 25% of the owner of the company. Also, the rewards is pretty decent. You get 1.5% cash back on all of your purchases. Now, the next credit card that I would recommend will be the US Bank Business Platinum Card. The main reason why I recommend this card is that they have an intro APR of 0% for 20 billing cycles. That is 20 months of a free loan. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that I'm not telling you guys to get into debt for the sake of getting into debt. I'm just telling you guys that you have access to all this money to start building your business. As a business owner, it is your job to start making money to pay off those bills. So having a runway of 20 months is a game changer. Since this is still a credit card, you still gotta make minimum required payments on that balance. Because if you do not, you will get a late payment and it will be reported to your personal credit. Now, this is something that you don't want to let happen. Also, when you apply for these credit cards from the major banks, most of the time they will require a personal guarantee and they will have a heart check done on your personal credit. If your personal credit is not too hot, start building your vendor accounts and work on your credit at the same time. I have plenty of videos on this channel that you can check out. Now, this card is only good for the intro APR. They do have another card, which is called the Triple Cash Rewards card, that also offers a 0% intro APR for 15 billing cycles, but you also earn rewards ranging anywhere between 1 to 5% cash back. Now, the next unsecured credit lines that I would recommend is trying to get in with American Express. If you already have a relationship with American Express on the personal side, getting a business credit card with them is gonna be so much easier. The great thing about MX is that normally when you attempt to apply for a secondary card or any card after that, this will only result in a soft inquiry. So this will not hurt your personal credit score. This is just an added benefit because you get more lines of credit without harming your personal, because the better your personal credit score is, the better it is for you to get more business credit. Now, the ones that I would recommend from MX will be the Blue Business Cash Card or the Blue Business Plus credit card. They're basically the same ones. One just gives you points and the other one gives you cash back. But they both don't have any annual fees and a zero introductory APR for the first year. The next one that I would recommend is trying to get in with Chase. The thing about Chase is that their credit cards tend to be very good because their sign-on bonuses are high and most of them offer a 0% APR for at least 12 months, and they also offer rewards. But the thing with Chase is that they do have this 524 rule. So if you're not aware of what that is, this is if you've opened 5 personal accounts within the last 24 months, they will deny your application automatically even if it is for a business credit card. But once you open up a business credit card from Chase, this will not be reported on the personal side. So this would not further harm applying for more credit cards with Chase. With Chase, there's no hard limit of how many business credit cards that you can hold at one time. So if you have multiple businesses, you can get repeated cards with the bonuses. Now, this just scratches the surface. There are plenty of revolving lines out there that you can get through Home Depot, Staples, Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon, and plenty others without a personal guarantee. But with these type of business lines of credit, you're only able to use them through their stores. In my own opinion, it is best to get an unsecured revolving line of credit from the big financial institutions because they tend to have higher credit limits. Now, let's answer some commonly asked questions. One question that I get a lot is that what if I'm a new business and I have no revenue yet? Is it possible for me to get capital or funding for my business? The answer is yes, it is possible, but this depends more heavily on your relationships with financial institutions and your personal credit score. So based on my own experience and working with others, if you have a new business but have bad credit history and no banking relationships, it's just gonna be so much more difficult and take a little bit more time. So as a quick example, a few years ago, I tried to start an e-commerce business and I had everything set up as I mentioned before to make my business look credible. But the only thing about my business is that I was still in startup mode and I was still a sole proprietor. I didn't even know whether or not it was going to be a profitable idea or business. So I went to my bank, which was Chase at the time, and decided to open up a business checking account. And on the spot, I applied for a business credit card with my EIN. So while I was there, the customer service rep was able to approve my credit card account with no actual revenue. I remember I actually put down an estimated revenue and I put down a low number like $1,000 to $2,000 a month. One thing that I know for sure that helped me out with this approval is I've been banking with Chase for years and I had an excellent credit score at the time. Now, on the other hand, if you're an individual who has no revenue or bad personal credit, it's just gonna take a little bit more time and work on your end to get better business funding. Now, this is where you wanna start building your business credit profile, because if your personal credit score is not that good, you really want the lenders to mainly look at your business credit rather than your personal. This is where you would want to go through the steps with this video and start getting vendor trade lines so you can start building that credit history for your business. Because in the meantime, you want to start making money with your business, because the more money that you are making with established trade lines, you're going to be able to have a pretty decent credit profile within the next 3 to 6 months. Also, at the same time, you want to begin working on your personal credit. I have plenty of videos on this YouTube channel that talks about credit repair and how to improve your credit, so make sure you check those out. As a shameless plug, I do have a DIY credit repair course that I go through all the steps of how to dispute derogatories on your account. And I also got a letter package as well if you want to go that route. But either way, you really want to start rebuilding your credit and repairing it until it gets up to 680 and above. Now, if you have a high risk business, this can include debt collection, credit repair, cannabis, selling firearms, or anything that's deemed high risk by financial institutions, you got to be a little bit more creative with lending. Because in most cases, some of these lenders may charge you a little bit more or may not fund you, so it just takes a little bit more extra work to find that working capital. A lender that I generally recommend is National Business Capital. They're kind of like a business lending aggregator where you kind of shop around for rates for you and match you up with the best lender for your particular industry. And in most cases, they can get your funding fairly quickly within a few days. So depending on where your starting line is, you can start building business credit as quickly as 30 days, but usually it can take anywhere between 6 months and possibly even 2 years to build a decent business credit profile. So what I recommend is to focus building your business, maintain those vendor trade lines, and use those revolving accounts properly. And by the end of that, you should have a pretty good business credit score. So if you have any questions about business credit whatsoever, let me know in the comments. And if you want to know what are my top soft pull business credit cards, come check out these videos over here.